I'm going to need time. Okay, thank you, everyone. Agenda item number 4 is application to review a premises license, the Fountain Shop, 1414A Lower High Street, Merthyr Tydfil. Before we go to the reports, I'm just going to get everyone to introduce themselves. I start. I'm Councillor Declan Salmon, and I'm the chair.
Hi, I'm Councillor Malcolm Colbrand. I represent Bedlong and Trelawes Ward.
I am Lee Davis, Councillor for Goodness.
Simon Jones. I'm a solicitor with the authority. Yeah, through my voice. Yeah, solicitor with the authority, and I'm here to advise the panel, not the rest of the attenders. So I will stay with them when they make a decision.
Joe Babe, I'm the licensing manager for the local authority.
Matthew Herbert, licensing officer for the local authority.
PC Steve Mosley, South Wales Police licensing officer covering Merthyr Tydfil.
Amy Cordinley, Fair Trading Officer for the authority.
Steve Jones, owner and stroke director of the Fountain Shop.
Okay, this is to consider the report of the Deputy Chief Executive. The report author is Matthew Herbert, who will now give a brief summary of the report.
Thank you, Chair. On the 12th of September 2023, an application to review the premises licence for the Fountain Shop was made by the Council's Trading Standards Department on the grounds of failure to promote the licensing objectives, namely the prevention of crime and disorder and the protection of children from harm. Please see Appendix 1 of the report for a copy of the full review application. In accordance with procedure, South Wales Fire Service, the Local Health Board and the Council's Public Health, Trading Standards, Planning, Children's Safeguarding Unit and Licensing sections were consulted on the application. An advertisement was placed at the Council's offices and notices were displayed on the premises and on the Council website in respect of the application. During the 28-day consultation period, representations were received from the Licensing Authority and South Wales Police. Please see Appendix 2 for details of the representations. The premises licence for the Fountain Shop was first granted in September 2005. The premises licence holder has been Fountain Shop Limited since November 2005. The designated premises supervisor has been Mr. Stephen John Jones since September 2005. A copy of the current premises licence is attached at Appendix 3. In determining the application, councillors must have regard to the 4 licensing objectives on which the Licensing Act 2003 is based. These are the prevention of crime and disorder, public safety, prevention of public nuisance, and the protection of children from harm. Councillors must have consideration to the representations and take such steps it considers appropriate for the promotion of the licensing objectives. The steps are to modify the conditions of the licence, to exclude a licensable activity from the scope of the licence, to remove the designated premises supervisor, to suspend the licence for a period not exceeding 3 months, to revoke the licence, or to take no action at all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Matthew. I'm going to go to Amy Cordingley, who will make representation as well.
Thank you, Chair. Right. The reason Trading Standards have called this review is because on the 28th of January 2023, we conducted test purchase of disposable nicotine vapes at the Fountain Shop. And a pink grapefruit alpha nicotine disposable vape pod was sold to our 16-year-old test purchaser. I'd like to confirm that it is policy Trading Standards that we don't use any test purchasers over the age of 16 and a half. And this volunteer was under that age, and we had confirmed with the school that he did look as of his age group. Now, on return to the store after the sale, it was found that staff were very unclear as to who was in charge, and a member of staff that I spoke to, who was classed as the most in charge at the shop, was Not sure what the age verification policy was at the store. First of all, they thought it was 18, but then they spotted a sign on the wall and said, no, it's 25. They thought there was a refusals book, which they couldn't locate, but then another member of staff thought that the refusals were now recorded on the tills. So there was quite a bit of confusion with the staff as to what the policies were there. Now, following on from this, on the 6th of September this year, the Fountain Shop Limited pleaded guilty to the offence at the Magistrates' Court in Merthyr Tydfil and were fined £1,666. The fine had been reduced for an early guilty plea. They paid costs of £490.50 and were charged £666 victim surcharge. Now, as is standard in these cases, after the sale, an assessment of the premises license was made. Now, although this was a nicotine vape pod, all shops have one policy as far as how they manage age-restricted sales. So it would be expected by us that it would be the same policy and procedures for every age-restricted sales item at that store. And what we found is the license only has mandatory conditions on there, and there are no formal controls as far as age-restricted sales go. Now, it is the opinion of Trading Standards that the Fountain Shop Limited does not have sufficient and robust procedures to protect children from harm, as in stopping them from obtaining age-restricted goods from the premise. Now, as part of the investigation, it was established that Stephen Jones is one of two directors of the Fountain Shop Limited, and he was away on holidays at the time of the sale. Now, there's approximately 20 members of staff at the store, including the shop assistants, and there's one supervisor, plus Stephen Jones, who's the management. Now, there was no formal training programme for staff. Staff are talked through their duties in the office by Stephen Jones, and sorry, I've lost my place. Right. And there's no formal supervision once they've been trained. Now, there's no written records maintained for training, and any further updates then for all the staff is through a Works WhatsApp group where staff members are asked to confirm they've understood by way of a thumbs up or response, and any member of staff that does not respond is, in all fairness, chased up by Stephen Jones. Now, it was also found that there is a very unclear message to staff regarding age policy. With the policy at the store actually being for staff to check if customers are over 18, but there are posters for Challenge 21, Challenge 25, but that's just to remind staff about age-restricted goods and to jog their memories. There was a refusals book at the store. There had previously been one, but it had gone missing at some time and it was not known when it went missing. Okay, and there's a till prompt system at the store, requiring staff to actually make an active choice not to sell. However, the staff can override the system, and the policy at the store is to ask ID before scanning, so there's no refusals recorded on the system at all. There was no system in place for monitoring that staff working on the tills are asking for ID. But Stephen Jones said that they don't refuse many customers anyway, and there's no recording system or supervision for staff to monitor refusals, and it's impossible to know how many refusals are actually taking place at the store. And I'm sure Mr. Jones will tell you it is an extremely busy store. After the sale took place, reminders were sent through the work WhatsApp group. And Stephen Jones did say that he has started to tell staff to check if people are under 21 or not. But it is a view of Trading Standards. This isn't quite enough to protect those underage from obtaining age-restricted goods at the store. So we do ask you to consider this application. If you are minded to add conditions, and we have recommended some robust conditions that would be appropriate. Now, we do feel Challenge 25 would be appropriate to the store. It is very busy. It is a very good system for catching anyone who is borderline and to reduce the chances of anyone underage obtaining goods. And we have detailed the condition there about the display of warning signs. We've also asked that all staff to record incidents in the refusals register. Now, refusals register can be electronic or it can be a paper form. And we've asked for a condition regarding training for new staff, detailed for it to be documented, documented training as well as verbal training, and for it to be signed. And we've requested a condition over refresher training as well. It is our opinion that the WhatsApp group is very good for communicating general messages to all staff and reminders, but we don't feel it is sufficient as far as a refresher course for age restricted sales is concerned. Now, we don't envisage that these conditions we've asked for would be onerous or costly or unreasonable and are proportionate to the sale of the vape to a 16-year-old test purchase volunteer. Obviously, the training can be continue to be done in-house by Mr. Jones. The refusals book is not going to cost any sort of monetary value either. Or the Challenge 25 scheme, as the system already has the till prompt system. And that is everything, unless you have any questions.
Okay, thank you very much, Amy. I'm going to hand over to do it Simon's way. Would you like to ask any questions of Amy?
Wrong button.
Questions now, right? At the end, we're going to come to you.
Yeah.
For you to give your submission.
That's fine. I've listened to Amy's findings there, and some of it I don't agree with after going off after listening to that. But again, if I got a chance to speak after, I'll bring that up. Yeah. So you can have a much more clearer picture where I'm coming from then. See. Okay. Thank you.
So what I'll do is I'll go to everyone else, get them to do the representations. If you want to ask them any questions, you can. Then councillors will come in and ask any questions they feel relevant as well. If you want to, yeah, just make it known that you want to just shout and let me know, and I'll bring you in. Okay. If I pass over to Joanne Baber.
Thank you, Chair. So my representations are on behalf of the Licensing Authority as a responsible authority. The Licensing Department fully supports the review application that has been brought by Trading Standards. The ability of children to access age-restricted products undermines the licensing objectives of the protection of children from harm and the prevention of crime and disorder, both of which the premises licence holder and DPS should be promoting. There is a mandatory condition on the premises licence that requires an age verification policy to be in place and operated, as well as the production of ID. It is clear from the information uncovered by Trading Standards as part of their investigation that the premises licence holder or DPS or no DPS had not implemented a clear age verification policy in place at this premises for any age restricted product, nor provided sufficient training to staff in relation to age restricted products. There was also inadequate supervision in place in terms of monitoring staff and no use of a refusals register to assess whether there were any issues with children attempting to purchase age restricted products. Paragraphs 10.46 to 10.49 of the statutory guidance cover age verification, and these are outlined in my written representations. It is clear from the information contained within the review application that the premises licence holder and DPS were not meeting these requirements. Due to the lack of robust procedures in place, the ability of minors to purchase age-restricted products at this premises was very concerning. Members must take such steps as they consider appropriate for the promotion of the licensing objectives, and the steps available are outlined in the committee report. However, should members be minded to add conditions to the premises licence, the licensing department would support those that have been recommended by training standards. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Joanne. PC Steve Mosley.
Good afternoon, Chair, Committee, and all persons present. I'm here representing South Wales Police as a licensing officer in relation to the review of the premises licence for the Fountain Shop, Lower High Street, Merthyr. My role is to work in partnership with multi-agencies to ensure licensing objectives are adhered to with licensed premises, and in this specific occasion, protection of children from harm. South Wales Police fully supports the review of the application brought by Training Standards following a positive test purchase. I sort of agree and concur with what Joe Baber has discussed there. South Wales Police feel that the conditions requested by Training Standards are robust, proportionate and necessary to promote the prevention of harm to children. And agree with what has been requested by Training Standards, which promotes the 4 licensed objectives and will help reduce the likelihood of further underage sales of nicotine disposable vapes in the future. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, PC Mosley. If I go to the premises licence holder, did you have any questions you wanted to ask of? No. Okay, lovely. I'll go to questions from the committee. Did any committee members have any questions? Okay, I've just got one. Mr. Jones, you've obviously seen Trading Standards recommendations. There's 4 recommendations there. If this committee were minded to agree with those recommendations, would you be happy with that?
Sorry, Chair. We have started implementing stuff anyway back some months ago, i.e. in record and refusals. And we got copies, and the refusal book is kept upstairs in my office. But I mean, as far as refusals are concerned, I've said to Amy at the time, we've always done this. We just haven't recorded it because we do not scan the system. My my till system, which cost me £1,000 to install, it prompts the staff to stop, look, and then decide whether to ask for an ID or not. That's always been the case. Anybody knows my business and knows me, we're not that type of business. That one occasion on the 28th of January, it was simply a mistake. Amy's picked up on certain things, and some of it I agree with, and some of it's already been implemented. I've already had each member of staff read a brief and understand and sign, which I've got on file. We've got the as Amy said earlier on, under 25 challenge and 21. We all know the law is 18, but I've said to my staff, look, rather than confuse things, let's go for the 21, because otherwise we're going to start alienating customers as well. Because some customers get very shirty, I got to be honest. And with all the greatest respect to everybody sitting in here, they don't have to put up with them, we do. My camera system actually records audio as well across the till, so we can hear what the customer's saying and what my staff are saying. So again, there's quite a bit of money being invested in that CCTV system, and it's maintained and serviced by Chubb Alarms. So there are things are in place. And I mean, yeah, I'm not going to sit there and deny everything, but I'm not. But the bottom line is, like I said to the magistrates in court, you know, at the end of the day, guys, with all the best training in the world, we can all make mistakes. And if you look at my unblemished record, or that business unblemished record, over 30 years before I got there, as far as I'm aware, and maybe the officer will be able to say different, that we've never had an issue in the fountain shop. Never. Now, obviously, this has arisen by one member of staff who's made a mistake, and that person has been removed from using the till, basically, and she was reprimanded by a first written warning. She's never used the till ever since. So until I'm comfortable that she is competent enough, she will not go back on there. So we have got things in place. We have listened to Amy's findings. As far as the person in question and what the lady she's talking about, she's been with me 24 years, and she clearly knows the ages, what age-restricted products are. Now, whether she's a bit flustered on that day or what, I don't know. I wasn't there. But yeah, there are things have been put in place, and there will be continuous things in training ongoing. Yes, we're a busy business, but we're a small business, and I can't spend all my time training people all the time. You have to be realistic, but I do agree. I mean, this act, it sounds and don't take offence, but it sounds worse than what it sounds really bad. You know, this protection of children harm, or whatever you call it. But like I said, we are not that type business. Never have been and never will be. But we just one of my staff made a mistake. So there are things, like I said, in place. We do not promote any deals on vapes or tobacco products, and like a lot of stores do, like a 2-4 price. We don't do that. Never have done. So we don't promote them products. But yeah, I just ask everybody's concerned on the panel to take all these points into consideration, and especially our unblemished record for all that time. I made one mistake in all them years. And at the end of the day, like I said, we are a very reputable business. I mean, most people who live in Merth, live and breathe in Merth, and know my business, even down to the police. The police are there back and forth all the time, and I've got a very good relationship with the police and respect. They come to me a lot of times for CCTV recordings, if the vehicles are involved, if people are involved, and I always support them, always. Yeah, so that's just my little bit, your chair. So.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Jones. I think it has been mentioned today by Amy that not all cases actually go before the committee, so that obviously you weren't happy with something that happened, and I appreciate that mistakes are made, because I wasn't a licensed trade myself. You know, so I know how difficult things can be. You know, you're really busy and things like that. But I think you did mention that at some stage today.
Yes, just to clarify, with court or with reviews, firstly, with court, not every sale where our test purchaser volunteer has had a sale. Not every case goes to court. We investigate, and where we find that the business has covered full due diligence, that is, done everything in their power, got refusals, been monitoring for refusals, got good staff training, it's got a good clear age policy as well. In those cases where they've covered full due diligence and the sale was just made, then in those cases we do not prosecute because we feel that the business isn't at fault. In this case, we do feel that there were some shortcomings. There was some confusion, and obviously there wasn't a refusals register. It is a shame. I know the COVID has caused in a few cases for refusals just to stop happening. Though, if I'm right, you said you keep the refusals book upstairs. It would be our recommendation that that won't be enough, because if it's upstairs, the staff aren't going to fill it in immediately and it's going to be forgotten.
Reason why I don't keep it downstairs, because I know it'll go missing. When the refusal slip comes off, they put it in the till. So when them tills go upstairs in the morning to be reconciled, that slip then is transferred into that file. Now, if you want me to keep another one downstairs, I can do that. That's not a problem. That's the least of my worries at the end of the day. So, but what I'm saying to you is the slip comes off out of the till, goes in the till, and then it gets put into the file up in the office when the girl who works in the office with me reconciles the tills. That's the way we work it, but.
Sure. So you were using the till prompt receipts as your refusals register rather than keeping an actual refusals register book then?
Well, yeah, because that's part of the way it's designed. See, the till is designed.
Right, I know, but earlier you said that your staff are trained to not scan the product.
Yeah, somebody comes with an age-graded product to the till, whether if it's about tobacco, obviously it's behind the scenes in drawers. The first thing we'll do, they'll look at the person and say, have you got any ID, please? Yeah, so they do that. So therefore, if they got no ID, sorry, I can't serve you.
So in that instance, you haven't got a till prompt receipt to show that that staff
we haven't scanned the product. See?
Which is why we would recommend, if you operate in that way, then you should keep a physical book, because that refusal is still taking place, but it hasn't been recorded.
So from my understanding is you want every refusal, not only the slip to come out of the till and go in the file, but recorded in a book.
You should, well, if you are operating the way you were saying, that this product is, if the product isn't scanned, you haven't got a till prompt receipt.
Yeah,
you keep as a record of the refusal, then you've got no record of the refusal. And the whole
understand
point of recording refusals is so that yourself as the DPS can monitor it on a monthly, weekly, or however often basis, and assess how many refusals have been made. For example, if you had 10 in one month and then none the next month, that would make you think, oh, right, am my staff now not refusing sales? And that's the whole point of keeping the record of the refusals.
I mean, I have to be honest. I mean, my staff are more stringent than they've ever been, obviously, because this has been highlighted. And I've also said to them, under no circumstances, if you're in doubt and they've got no ID, sorry, can't serve you. It's quite simple. No ifs, no buts. I don't pressure my staff to get every sale. I don't. We're not that type of store. We don't need it. But they are much more stringent now than they was. Yeah, perhaps they did get a bit laxity, and perhaps partly that's my fault. But again, we're a small business and I can't be everywhere all of the time. But most of my staff have been with me quite some time. The lady I'm talking about, Kim, who's been with me 24 years. So the fact she was unclear about the age restriction on vapes and cigarettes, I find that bizarre, because I have spoken to her about that some months ago. And she said, I was nervous. She said, I didn't know what to say. Well, I said to her, just be honest. You know the age-related products. You know what the law is. So why she flustered, I do not know. I wasn't there at the time. But the person, like I said, didn't say who actually made that vape sale, if you like. Like I said, she has been removed and she has had some further training, but I'm still not happy with her to put back on the till, to be honest. If that makes sense. But yeah, I get the refusals, and we can get that in place. That's a quick fix.
We myself and Trading Standards have got template books that
Yeah,
that
great.
you could have.
If I can have them off you.
If you're operating in the way you say, you know, not scanning, then they're still refusals, but they aren't being recorded by utility. For
Well,
the reason I totally accept you
okay.
saying about not scanning.
I say not recorded. They are by CCTV, but above their head.
But it's written,
I know. I get that.
Yeah.
Um,
We can get you a book.
That's fine. Lovely, great.
Yeah, if I could also add, though, Steve, right, it also promotes your willingness to support the licensing objectives and to show that you want to deliver a gold standard model on refusals. It's not like us trying to sort of point the finger at you. You've got to do X, Y, Z. But in respect of refusals, you know, in our eyes, you know, if there's no refusals written down physically, then that refusal didn't happen. You know, if you can see that, you know,
Yeah, I can see that point. Yeah, I can see that point.
Lovely, thank you.
To clarify as well, obviously, I do agree with Joe Baber that, you know, what you doing to us wouldn't be sufficient to fulfill the condition that we've asked for refusal to register. It needs to be a book, or they need to be scanning it onto the system. And, you know, I would recommend that you do it. Is to protect yourself and your business, because if you were doing all these things that we're asking for and a sale was to happen again, you know, it would be much less likely that we would end up back in the same place. Okay. And just to finish clarifying, Chair, obviously I covered the court. Not everything goes to court, and it's the same with the reviews. Not every case where it's gone to court might come to review. We actually assess a license and see, is this license got controls on it to meet the licensing objectives? And in this case, we don't feel that what's on the license is sufficient.
Okay, I just want to add what Amy said there. So as long as you put everything in place, you know, I don't think anyone's here to, you know, to beat you up or anything like that. To be honest, it's just to protect children, because as counsellors, we are corporate parents, so we've got a responsibility, you know, for all the young people out there. And I think that's just what it is. The whole council has, but this putting everything in place would protect you, so that if a member of staff makes a mistake again, that you don't go to court and get to find that £2,800, which is a lot of money for everyone. So just going back to it, you've seen the recommendations. Are you happy with them? Not really. You've mentioned you're not happy with the challenge 25.
I say I'm not happy with it is because Tesco's can afford to adopt that policy, we're a small convenience store, as you know, Chair. Yeah, we might be a busy store, but I think the challenge, even though we've got the posters up, challenge 25, would trading standards be happy with us using the challenge 21 then, instead of the 25?
The first of the conditions recommended is challenge 25. You're saying 21 would be better because 25 alienates some of your customers. Aim, do you want to respond to that? Would you be happy with 21?
Yeah, I'm a little bit confused as to how customers feel alienated because it is quite standard. Most youngsters these days, they go around like places like Tesco, they just know to get their ID out. I suspect there's a lot of them will get their ID out before they even get to the till
And
because they
in
expect
fairness,
to be
they do.
asked.
They do, but there are also a percentage of stroppy ones, which we have to deal with in-house. But go on, sorry, I interrupted.
No, that's okay. To be honest, it would be our preference for it to be challenge 25. It does help catch the borderline ones. But obviously that's a decision for the committee.
Can I ask a question? If that would be the case, Amy, is that going to be rolled out throughout the borough, throughout other convenience stores, or is it just me?
One, Chair. So each and every premises license is different. Obviously, it should be at a shop, a pub, a club, whatever it may be. Each and every one is different. Some have, as you do, old licenses that haven't had any changes made to them. Others have challenge 21, others have challenge 25. I think I would have to agree with Amy based on the circumstances of the test purchase. I would prefer challenge 25. It is a stronger, more robust scheme than challenge 21 and does catch those borderline ones. And as Amy said, it is widely operated in many other premises as well.
The only thing, the only thing I would say to that is, again, look, we're a small store, and I feel if that, to weigh up the balance of fairness, if that's going to be imposed on my business, why can't it be rolled out through every convenience store in Merthyr Tydfil Borough?
So we can't just go and place extra conditions on premises license for no reason.
So
we're placing this on your will license because there's been an underage sale of an age-restricted product taking place there, and we feel more robust procedures are needed.
I understand that, but this has all come about because of one mistake in all this time I've been in business on one vape, and I get the severity of it, but I personally, for me, if we start, because we're adopting, if we got to adopt the challenge 25, and I'm losing a lot of custom, the worst case scenario there is I will have to start laying staff off with all the rising costs we got to put up with as a business as well, which I know perhaps that's not a concern of yours. You're there to do your job, but also I got to do what I got to my side to protect where I can my business and my staff.
All I would add to that is, you know, I personally, from my experience in licensed premises, I haven't come across any premises that have said they found challenge 25 too difficult to deal with.
Chair, I think we're clear here. Mr. Jones is saying he's happy with 21. I think trading standards and licensing have said they'd prefer 25. This is something we'll consider whenever we.
I'm just asking for a compromise.
Yeah. No, I think we've got it all. Okay, yeah. So you obviously made your point in relation to challenge 25. You said you're happy with the refusals log being implemented. Mm-hmm. The other two were that there'll be induction training for staff, different to what you've been giving. That it's a written record. And that the fourth one is that there'll be refresher training every 6 months. Have you got any issue with those two?
No, I've got no issue with them. It's just, again, it's all, I mean, don't take this in the wrong way. It's all time consuming. Like Tesco's, I've got training departments. Little old me hasn't, so it's down to me. And anybody new that comes into the business is they get trained on the till, and they're overlooked by a member of staff that's been there for some time and knows what the do's and don'ts, if you like. And then I will overlook that and ask that member of staff who supervised them how that person have done, he or she. And it's just an ongoing thing with them. And you know, it's only so long you put your arm around somebody's shoulder. Then you have to leave them swim themselves to a degree, like. But
Any more questions for committee? No. Mr. Jones, did you have anything else to add?
not really, Chair. It's only just asked for a bit of common sense to come into it. Basically, I'm not a criminal. I'm an hard-working person, and I have been for the last 25 years in the business with an unblemished record. So I'd like things like that to taken into consideration, Chair, if possible.
Okay, thank you very much. What we're going to do is the committee are going to retire to to discuss and deliberate and come to a decision. And I believe
If you can retire with the rest of the people here, I'll stay with the committee. We'll have a look at what we've heard, and we'll let you know as soon as we've come to a decision. All right, so we call you back in a I don't know how long it'll be, but shortly.
Matthew and Democratic.